Hello, welcome to our YouTube channel. I am Megha Goel, Executive Corporate Advisor at VLA and Associates Company Secretaries. In this video, I am going to explain the provisions that the company need to comply with when conducting its AGM through video conferencing or other audio-visual means. These provisions are contained in the MCA circulars issued by the MCA on various dates, which I will be discussing shortly in this video. Moving on, let's look at the content that I will be covering in this video, and I will discuss each one of these content one by one in the upcoming slides. You can refer the contents if you want to read. Now moving on, let's look at the MCA circulars which MCA have issued. Circular number 14 dated 8 April 2020. In this circular, framework has been prescribed for holding AGM through video conferencing or other audio-visual means. In circular number 17, further clarifications on the previous framework prescribed by the MCA has been issued in this circular. Circular number 18. In this circular, MCA has extended the last date for conducting AGM for the companies having year ended 31st December 2019. Circular number 20. In this circular, MCA has further allowed companies to conduct their AGM through video conferencing. However, the framework is the same as prescribed for the AGM in the circular number 14 and in the circular number 17. Moving on, the first question that arises in our mind is how to proceed with this newly concept of conducting the virtual AGM. This is the whole overview of the whole process that the company needs to do. First one is consider the last date to conduct AGM. Then check whether your company is eligible to conduct the AGM through video conferencing or other audio-visual means. Then put in order the prescribed framework which has been prescribed by the MCA in the said circulars. Now decide the items to be transacted. Prepare the AGM notice. Next, give public advertisement in 2 newspapers. Proceeding further, dispatch the said AGM notice and the annual report, and there will be some other further provisions that we will be considering. Coming to the process, let's look at the last date to conduct AGM. For the companies having year ended 31st March 2020, the last date will be 30th September 2020 and the company may further apply for the extension of AGM. For the companies having year ended 31st December 2019, the last date is also same, that is 30th September 2020. It used to be 30th June, but the said date has been extended by the MCA circular. You can refer the said circular, and further the company cannot apply for extension of AGM in this case because the maximum extension can be allowed is of 3 months as per the section 96 and which has already been allowed by the MCA. Now coming to, first you need to check which companies are eligible to conduct AGM through video conferencing or other audio visual means. For this, I have divided the companies into 2 categories, basically as per the MCA circular. First category is of check if your company is required to provide the e-voting facility or has voluntarily opted for providing e-voting facility. In that case, company would be eligible to conduct the meeting through video conferencing. However, if the company is not required to provide the e-voting facility, in that case, an eligibility criteria has been prescribed. If the company is satisfied, then the company would be eligible. Now, what is the eligibility criteria? Company would be eligible if the company has the email address of minimum 50% of its total number of members who hold shares. Now, these are in the brackets bold, prescribe what type of company is, and you need to satisfy the criteria accordingly. Now, total number of members who, in case of a Nidhi, hold shares of more than 1000 rupees in face value or more than 1% of the total paid up share capital, whichever is less, or which represents minimum 75% of the paid up share capital in case of a company having share capital, and which represents minimum 75% of the voting power in case of the company not having the share capital. Now, this is a prescribed framework which has been prescribed by the MCA in the said circular. The framework is same as applicable to the AGM. However, now let's consider the prescribed framework. Number 1, is maintain recorded transcript of AGM in the safe custody. Now if it's a public company, you also have to place it on the company's website if any. Now the timing is as soon as possible. The second framework will be scheduling AGM. You need to schedule the AGM as per the convenience of the person located in different time zones. You have to schedule the AGM accordingly. Coming to the next step, next point, quorum. Now whatever the members are. Now coming to the quorum, attendance of members through video conferencing will be counted for the purpose of quorum. Next is appointment of proxy. In this case will not be allowed since it's a virtual AGM. Appointment of members representative is allowed. Coming to the next facility for joining the AGM. You need to open it at least 15 minutes before the scheduled times and you cannot close it until the 15 minutes expire from the scheduled time. Thereafter you can close the entry into the AGM. Coming to the next point, who is mandatory to attend the AGM through video conferencing? At least one independent director if the company is required to appoint the same, and the auditor or his authorized representative. Coming to the next, institutional investors. For institutional investors, MC has said they must be encouraged to attend the AGM, although they hadn't made it mandatory for them to attend the meeting. Coming to the next point, these are the points that the company need to take care of when providing the facility of virtual conferencing. It had to provide two-way teleconferencing. Then it has to make a system such that the participants can pose the questions either simultaneously or they can submit their questions in advance on the company's email address. Now if the company is providing the e-voting facility, company should make sure that it can allow at least 100 members to participate on first come first serve basis. And if the company is not providing e-voting facility, it should make sure that minimum 500 members or whatever the total members are, whichever is lower, can participate on first come first serve basis. Now irrespective of first come first serve basis, company should ensure that when the shareholders holding more than 2% or 2% of shareholding, the said promoters, institutional investors, KMP, chairperson or etc. whoever is the important basically can attend the AGM without the restriction of first come first serve basis. Moving on, coming to the next point, chairman's address. Before the AGM start, chairman of the meeting shall record the company has made all efforts to enable the members to participate and vote in the AGM. Next is whatever the resolutions has been passed in the meeting, it should be filed with the ROC within 60 days of AGM. Next is what will be the manner of the appointment of chairman for AGM. It will be applicable as long as the AOE does not prescribe. If the AOE prescribes other, then we need to follow what AOE prescribes. Now it depends whether on the number of the members. If there is less than 50 members present in the AGM, then the chairman shall be appointed as per the section 101. If 50 or more members are present in the AGM, in that case it will depend whether the company is providing the e-voting facility or not. In case the company is providing the e-voting facility, then the chairman shall be appointed by the poll through e-voting system during the AGM. If the company is not providing the e-voting facility, then appointment of chairman shall be made by the poll, but in that case voting will be made through the email address. You will further see the procedure of e-voting, different e-voting system in case the company is providing e-voting facility and in the case company is not providing e-voting facility. Coming to the next point, this point is only applicable on the category A companies. That is what we will be discussing if the company is providing the e-voting facility. Now the voting system is different for both the companies, that is companies which will be providing the e-voting facilities, and it will be different in case of companies not providing the e-voting facility. Now the earlier framework had been prescribed that is applicable to both the companies, but now this one is applicable only if the company is providing the e-voting facility. What will be the voting system? First of all, before the date of AGM, company needs to provide the remote e-voting facility as per the Act. Chairman shall ensure that the facility of e-voting system for conducting the poll during the AGM. Who can vote through e-voting system or show of hands in the AGM? Now, eligibility to vote is only of those members who are present through the video conferencing and have not voted through the remote e-voting and are also not debarred from voting are eligible. If the member has voted through remote e-voting, in that case member cannot vote in the video conferencing AGM. If the member has not voted in the remote e-voting system, then it can vote in the virtual AGM that will be considering through video conferencing. Now coming to the voting system of the companies which are not providing the e-voting facility, how the voting will be conducted in that case. Basically it's through the email address. For that the company needs to provide first of all the designated email address, and it has to mention in the AGM notice that the company will be sending to the members, so that the members can convey their vote when the poll is conducted at such designated email address. Next would be company needs to maintain the confidentiality regarding the said email address at all the times. Now how the voting would be conducted on the poll? Members can vote by sending their emails through their registered email address during the AGM, and the MC has clarified on the same that whether the members need to send the emails before the AGM, but the said has been clarified by the MCA, and members need to send the emails during the AGM. What will be the manner of voting? If there are less than 50 members are present, voting may be by show of hands unless a poll is demanded. In that case, voting would be held through email address. And if 50 or more members are present, in that case, voting would be through email address. Now, since the voting has been conducted through the email address, so time could be consumed when counting the vote. In that case, if there is insufficient time for counting the votes, AGM may be adjourned and called later to declare the said results. Moving on, what are the items that can be transacted in the AGM through video conferencing or other audio-visual means? Ordinary business as usual, special business only if it is of urgent nature and cannot be avoided as per the board of directors. Next step would be to prepare the AGM notice. After preparing it, the company needs to place it on the company's website if there is any. It needs to intimate it to the stock exchange if the company is a listed company. It should make the following disclosure in the AGM notice, that is, how can the members use the said framework, manner for use of framework by members, how can the members participate, access the meeting, helpline number for the shareholders who may need technology assistance before or during the AGM, designated email address so that members can vote on the poll when the poll is conducted, if it is not providing the e-voting facility. Now moving on, the next step would be, after the company has prepared the AGM notice, before dispatching it, the company needs to publish it in the newspaper by way of advertisement, and they have to publish it in the 2 newspapers. Now it would be mandatory if the company is providing e-voting facility, that is, shortly we have referred to it as category A company. Now company needs to give public notice by way of advertisement in 2 newspapers, that is, first one is vernacular newspaper, second one is English newspaper, both having the wide circulation. When you need to publish it, the time would be before the dispatch of the AGM notice and the annual report. Coming to the contents of the advertisement. The following content should be mentioned in the advertisement by the company. First one is statement that the business may be transacted through e-voting, date and time of commencement and end of remote e-voting, cut-off date, manner in which the persons who became members after the notice has been dispatched and they can participate, statement that the AGM will be convened through point number 4 is the continuing one. I think there is some mismatch, some error in that. So it will manner in which the persons who become members after dispatch of the notice, how can they obtain the login ID and the password. Statement that the AGM will be convened through video conferencing, date and time of AGM, availability of AGM notice on the company website, stock exchange, manner in which the members who are holding shares in physical form and who have not registered their email address can vote through e-voting or e-voting system as provided during the meeting, manner in which the person can register their email address with the company, manner in which, suppose the company has declared the dividend, so how can they give their bank details to the company for receiving it directly in their bank account, and any other relevant details that the company consider necessary. Now that would be for the company A category. Now if the company is belonging to category B, that is, it is not providing the e-voting facility, then the publish of the public notice depends on a condition. That is, it is not mandatory for the company to give public notice in the advertisement if it is not providing the e-voting facility. Now what is the condition that determines whether the company have to give public notice or not? It depends on the below condition. First of all, before sending the AGM notice, the company needs to contact all the members to register their email address if they have not registered the same. Suppose if contact details of any of the member are not available with the company or it could not be obtained due to any reason, then the company in that case have to immediately give the public notice as described below. So what is the point in this? Suppose the company has 200 members. Now the company would be eligible if it has the email address of at least 50 members. But now the condition is company cannot proceed with conducting the AGM with those 50 members even though it does not have the email address of the rest of the 50 members. It needs to obtain the email address so that they can also be informed of the said meeting, that the meeting will be conducting through the video conferencing. So even if the company is not having the email address of even a one member, in that case company needs to give the public notice in the newspaper so that through that they can inform those members that we are going to conduct the meeting, and if you want to give your email address you can register the same with us. So it's not like if the company is having the email address of 50% members, it just proceed with and not inform the other 50% members. It has to inform the other 50 members as well. Now the company suppose cannot obtain the detail of all the members and some of the members are not be contacted due to reasons. Now the company will proceed further and give the public notice by way of advertisement in two newspapers. It's same, that is, one is the vernacular newspaper and one is the English newspaper, both having the wide circulation. And what will be the time? First of all, you cannot dispatch the notice before giving the public notice. That is, suppose if you have the email address of 99 members and you don't have the email address of even a one member, you cannot dispatch the notice. First you have to give the public notice, then you will dispatch the notice. So the time gap between that will be minimum of the 3 days. Give the public notice immediately if you are not able to obtain the email address of even a one member, and then wait for at least 3 days and then start with dispatching the notice of the AGM. Coming to the contents of the advertisement, tell the public that the company, the members, company intends to convene AGM through video conferencing. Company proposes to send the AGM notice to all the members by email after at least 3 days from the date of publication of the public notice. Email address and the telephone numbers at which the members can contact for registering their email address for participation and voting in AGM. What our main purpose is to get their email address and phone numbers. Now there are some other things which we will be also considering, which the company is to consider. The company next is to the next step is the company has to dispatch the AGM notice and the annual report. By annual report, it means financial statements including board report, auditor report and any other document that needs to be attached with the annual report. It would be sent only to the members, debenture holder, trustees and all other persons which are so entitled. Next is dividend through e-mode. Now these will be applicable only if the company is declaring the dividend. Now the companies have to allow the members to give their consent for receiving the dividend directly into their bank account. If due to non-availability of the bank account details, company is unable to pay the dividend by email to any shareholders, what company should do? In that case, company should dispatch the dividend warrant or check to such shareholders by post upon when the postal services normalize. Next would be for those companies which will be providing e-voting facility. Now if the company is conducting AGM at its registered office or at any other place, maybe it has obtained the permission, in that case it is also allowed to hold the virtual AGM. That is, if the company is holding the AGM with physical presence of some of the members. So in addition to holding of the physical AGM, it can further also provide the virtual conferencing facility to the other members who cannot attend the physical meeting. And the quorum would be obviously the members present and the members attending through video conferencing. Both will be considered for the purpose of quorum. And how the resolution will be passed? It will be passed through e-voting. It will continue to be passed through e-voting as usual. Now there may be other compliances as provided in the Act or as provided in the articles regarding the general meeting. So the company need to ensure that all these are complied through the e-voting. For example, taking of disclosures, inspection of related documents or registers by members, or authorization for voting by body corporates, etc. All these things company should consider are made through e-mode. Now meeting landscape is changing, so we are here to help you. Keep calm and contact us. Thank you. This presentation is prepared by me. If you have any questions, you can further contact us. Thank you.